What's up, banana bunch? Bunch? Bunch?
Welcome to the Jungle Gyms podcast. What's up, Banana Bunch? You know what time it is? It's time for another episode of the Jungle Gyms podcast. I'm your host, Mark. Welcome to the show. All of you listening out there only to the audio platform, I appreciate you. You know, it's available on all major platforms, but I think most of you are Apple Podcast users. Thank you. And you know what? If you want to get down with us like fully, I always recommend jumping in on YouTube with us because we make a bunch of short content for YouTube. You know, I say the same thing about TikTok, but we get our shorts there. And then, of course, we like to do the whole episode of the podcast on YouTube too, which is a lot of fun. And I'm just going to start strong today because it's mail call. I think this is I've gotten some digital fan mail before, but this is my first piece of actual fan mail. So, you know what? While everyone on the internet is talking about why TikTok should not be banned, I'm just going here very personally, like, listen, don't ban TikTok because it's the platform where I have the most followers. And more importantly, people will just start sending you stuff. I'll, you know what, while I'm sitting here, I'll get a cute insert shot of all these too, so we can cut around to it. But I was joking around on TikTok, as I tend to do. Look at these. Oh, here, we're cutting in on it so all of you can see. So I'm joking around on TikTok, as I tend to do all the time with you lovely people. And as I'm doing so, a page, here, I'll give them a shout out since they sent these to us. This is great. Jeremy, I now know them by their real name, but they were called Stick It Decals. And I thought it would be really funny. They asked me if we carried Volkswagen ketchup. And I just assume, like most people who reach out to me on the internet, that they're trolling me. So I joked around a little bit and found out it was a thing. We don't carry it currently, but we're going to find out now. And I joked to them. I was like, hey, Stick It Decals, I'll go find out if we can carry that if you make me some stickers. Well, within seconds, I get a reply on TikTok, and it's literally all these sticker images of me. So if you all are in the area, and of course of the podcast art too, how cool is this? If you're in the area and you stop by and you want one, I would love to give you one. And of course, like I said, I want to give them a shout out for this because I thought this was really cool. And they, you know what? They probably know what they're doing, but it's stickit-decals.com. Definitely check them out. This is so fun. Honestly, I am a little high on myself, but who wouldn't want a bust of themselves in sticker format that you could place in, I don't know, next to the urinal? That's probably where stickers get placed. I've been in a public bathroom before, so I thought that was really cool. Thank you all so much for that. And you know what else is fun about Jungle Gyms? Before we even dive into the big part of the episode, sometimes people will come and just pitch me things like, hey, Mark, I have this idea or whatever. Or in this case, they just happen to actually be in the store. And I was like, oh, fellow podcaster and somebody who wants to pitch me an idea. And I said, hey, Tank, why don't you just sit down and we'll talk on the podcast about this real fast. So meet my pal, Anthony Tank Mansfield of What You Into podcast. Welcome.
Hey, what's up, Mark? How you doing, buddy?
Is that how you'd like me to refer to you in this public setting?
I guess, yeah, man. Anthony Tank Mansfield, Anthony Tank. I mean, pretty much ATM, anything I will answer to.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, it's a good thing. I could use $20. No, seriously, tell everybody a little bit about yourself. And what, actually, more importantly, let me lead in with this. So Anthony's got a great podcast called What You Into. He interviews people like myself and a bunch of other interesting people with like cool collections, hobbies, all kinds of fun stuff. It really runs the gamut. It's a great show, dude. And thank you for having me.
Thank you. Hey, man. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, of course. Well, today, though, you came to pitch me a little idea, not just for the show, but maybe for future stuff. So I thought this might be a fun way I'm like, sell the audience, and then I can weaponize it to make sure it happens.
Nice. Well, I'm the head organizer for Six Bomb Boards in Cincinnati. Six Bomb Boards started in the early 2010s in Lexington, Kentucky by a guy named Justin 3000 Stewart. And basically what it was a way for artists to get together outside of their studios. Mm-hmm. Being a visual artist, we're like artists are weird in general, but we're extra weird because we are usually just by ourselves. Like performance artist, if you're in a band, you're working with other people. If you're a dancer, you're in a troupe. If you're an actor, you're usually with somebody else in a theater company, or you're working together on a movie. And even single stuff like stand-up comedians, you're on a bill with other people. Visual artists, we're alone. And so Six Bomb Boards was started as a way to get us out of our studios and create at least a once-a-month gathering. We could just all get together and draw live together.
That's really cool. And where do you usually do these kind of things?
So it basically, with the boards, it allows us to pop up pretty much anywhere. So we've done stuff at breweries here in the local area, bars, nightclubs, comic book shops, pop culture stores. We've been able to pretty much any place that has a wall we can be.
Oh, that's really cool. And for all of you for all of you listening right now that aren't watching along on YouTube, you'll probably either have just seen, depending on where I laid it in the edit, but Anthony was kind enough to give me some footage of some of the stuff that they've been making so you can see what they're doing too. Another great reason to subscribe to our YouTube so you can actually see what we're talking about, which you think would be very important on the food end too.
You would think so, yes, indeed.
But definitely important when it comes to visual art.
Very much so, yeah. Yeah. Of the senses, usually sight, vision is one of the important ones for enjoying the art. Whereas on your side, being able to see it, but also being able to taste it is important.
Yes.
Which I don't know if we haven't got the smell of vision yet or taste of vision, but somebody's working on it.
You know what my dream is truly, though?
What's that?
Is I would love to, and it probably just, I'm sure it's a staffing problem and the fact that I'm just one person doing all this, that I probably can't make it happen, but I would love to really do this is every week cultivate like a small number of tasting baskets, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And the idea would be, it'd be like anything that I tried on the show, I'd put a couple of those in there. People could, it'd be very limited run thing. Maybe it's like for VIP people. We'll figure this out one day. But it'd be cool if that way people could taste along.
Oh,
and they could just come in and have like a curated little bottle, like, oh yeah, this is what Mark talked about on the show this week. Here's these 3 things, you know what I mean, or whatever it is. And it's like, small cost to the consumer, easy to find, rather than because a lot of people will be like, hey, I heard that thing you tried. Where is it? And I'm like, well, ask an employee. Don't wait till the day after you leave the store. We have like tons of people on the floor. They will help you find it. I mean that in jest. I get it. It's sometimes awkward, but I think that would be a lot of fun.
I could imagine trying to find, like, knowing where food exists in the store. Like, the store is just so big. And it being the idea that, like, you're almost like a curator where you're like, oh, yes, I know where that's at. That's in... And then fill in where in the store all the food exists at.
I'm surprised how good I've gotten at it. Just since I have my hands in so many things that I'm always surprised what my memory works on. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh yeah, it's about here. Especially now that we're in the middle of this renovation too. So it's like, or not renovation, but expansion rather.
Whoa. So, do you have a favorite food part of the store?
Oh my gosh, Asia.
Asia?
Yeah, I mean, just generally, I love Asian cuisine. Like, I mean, if you were like, Mark, let's go eat, I'm probably going Vietnamese, Korean, and in no particular order, but like Vietnamese, Korean, Japanese, Chinese, you name it. Like, I am on board. Indian, you know, because people seem to forget that that's in Asia too. Mm-hmm. All of that, I kind of love how I feel like a lot of the Asian food is really it's accessible to the American palate. Mm-hmm. And then it's like a good gateway. You're like, oh, Japanese food? I think Japanese in general is like probably the easiest in. Mm-hmm. And then you're like, okay, I'm into this. And then you're like, okay. And then you like move from like American Chinese to like more traditional actual Chinese. Mm-hmm. Korean's an underrated slayer in general for me. But there's just so much fun stuff.
And there's also like the various levels of spice you can get into with inside of Asian food, which is also fun. Yeah,
which always surprised me because there's so many heat heads. Or I don't know what you all call yourselves, hot heads. I'm pretty sure the burrito company's going to sue you. But you'd think thered be just way more interest in that in general. So hopefully everybody's now hot on it. How about you?
You know what? I like the meat department. I think is pretty cool just because you never know what you're going to find here.
So true.
Like there's literally sometimes alligators in the case. And I'm not expecting that anywhere in Ohio. So that's always fun. And the beer department, just because it's never ending.
Yeah. All over the world. They've got the one thing I was talking about this on Twitter the other day, we have a huge NA beer selection too, like kind of like absurdly large. Well, I say absurd, like the whole store isn't the craziest place on the planet, but yeah, very cool stuff.
I've recently gotten into NA beers and they're really nice.
Yeah.
Like it's just, you get the taste, but without the huge calorie count. And also sometimes it's like, maybe I should be sober for some things.
Right.
So
exactly.
It really works out well.
Accessibility. That's what this is all about. Well, I hope this comes true. I hope to see you all at a festival. Like I told you off air, I'll just say it on air too. And this goes for any of you business owners, whatever, anybody DMing me that I don't know well. I'm sort of joking. Obviously can't make any promises, but I always like to put people that I believe are doing something interesting in the hands of the right people.
Right
so
on. Thank you.
I hope this happens. But you know what, audience, you know what you could do is you could say, hey, I loved what Tank and his team are making. Six. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna blow it. 6 boards.
6 bomb boards.
6 bomb boards. I was like, where's the bomb go?
You were on it. You were getting there.
The SBB. I'm going to just leave this whole part in. But you should leave a comment on this YouTube video if you're watching, or you can shoot me an email at podcast@junglegyms.com and say, you know what? I do want to see that at upcoming festivals like Beer Fest in June, or the other festival that I don't think I'm allowed to talk about on the show yet. So in the meantime, where can they find your podcast?
They can find my podcast, What You Into. It's about hobbies, collection, and fandom. It's available anywhere you get your podcast, so Spotify, Apple, Google. It's all out there. So
Beautiful.
Look for it there.
Yeah. Don't listen to my episode. I think I say a lot of crazy things on it.
Oh, you got 2 good episodes.
I really do.
Yeah.
They're both. I honestly, I had a great time, but it's always that thing where I was like, remember, that's Mark, the person, not Mark, the Jungle Gyms representative. Although we do talk about the show. But anyway, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much.
Oh, my
dude.
God, dude. Yeah.
Appreciate
We'll see you soon.
Oh, yeah.
Well, let's say we have Tank back either way to do some art for us in here.
Fair
you
enough.
Into that?
I'm down. I'm totally
Awesome.
down.
That's what I'm into.
Awesome.
Thanks for stopping by, Tank. And like I said in the interview, folks, if you think that this sounds fun and is something that you want to see at one of our events, let me know. I have no sway over this, to be clear, except that I'm just going to send his information along. But if you thought this was cool, it seems like it'd be a fun time, let's set it up the ranks. I would love to this is how I'm going to force your engagement with me in general. So that's what's up. Now, this week, I was sort of thinking, I had that idea for a bit. I have this big, you can't see it right now, and I don't want to show you because I don't want to reveal all of my secrets, but if you walk by the studio, you can usually see it in here. I've got this giant whiteboard of ideas, and every time we have an idea, I'll sit there, I'll mark it down, and whoever comes in, right? It could be anybody on our creative team, or like Lucky when he's down in here working with me, whoever, and if it's like, I don't know, I'm one of those people who goes, all ideas are pretty much good until they're not. But no, all truth be told, I really do believe that all good ideas, or all ideas can be good ones, right? And you just have to massage it, whatever. But I've been sitting on this one for a while, and we tried it a few times early in the show's run when we were still kind of trying to figure out the format. And I'm calling the segment Imports versus Domestics. And so what I thought would be fun, and we're gonna do a little trial run of it today, so let me know if you hate this. And if you don't hate this, I'll keep doing it in larger formats and other versions. You may even see separate YouTube videos. But if you really don't like it, I will apologize to you, because that's the type of person I am. So anyway, what I was thinking with imports versus domestics, I was like, hey, there's a lot of things that we enjoy in America that are also somewhat, they're enjoyed in a different way overseas, right? And so I thought, I was looking at our frozen meals. I kept thinking, there's got to be a comparison here. So what I was thinking is, I got my prize wheel out, and I've been waiting to do something with this for a while. And I was thinking we'd spin the wheel, and on the wheel, we'll pick a place somewhere in the store that we've got a section of, and then we're going to pull, maybe a little frozen meal from them. I'd go into our frozen section. We're going to pick something from America, and then I'm going to go to this international section. We're going to pick something from another country, and then we're going to compare them. What I'm going to try and do is find 2 items that are somewhat similar, so that it's not like you're like, all right, Mark, you're trying to compare Salisbury steak and like teriyaki chicken or something like that. Okay, yeah, I'm going to try and get as close as possible. So let's get the prize wheel out, and I'm going to give it a quick spin. Let's see what we got. It's India. All right, let's get out of the studio and let's head out into the store. Okay, so we're out in U.S. frozen right now. There's all kinds of stuff. We're near dairy, all that good stuff. And at first I was thinking maybe we dive in and try a full meal, but I think this is an appetizer style bit. So let's actually try a popular U.S. appetizer. I think I've got them in small portions. Perhaps you've heard of them, the pizza roll. Shout out Mr. Plinkett. Fish sandwiches, wontons, hot pockets. There's the pizza rolls. Okay, found it. All right. Okay, so I always say when I eat a slice of pizza, you gotta go cheese first because you can't hide the imperfections. And hopefully Totino's up for the challenge. So we're gonna go classic cheese Totinos. This is the U.S. contender today. All right, let's head out to India Frozen India. International. I don't know what they call it. Okay, so we're back here in India Frozen right now. So my goal, we picked the pizza rolls. We thought that's a good U.S. frozen app. My catch is I want to make sure that whatever we get is actually a product of India and not just an Indian product made in the USA. So I was thinking we'd go Samosas, and I know we have, I've never opened a door before. I know we have some brands like Deep India, but I'm willing to bet, let's see here. Yep, product of the USA. Okay, so for the sake of what I'm doing, this doesn't count today. So you can usually tell in the packaging. I don't mean that bad, it's just what it is. Our design needs are different. I'm thinking, let's see what's up with this. This looks like this one. Okay. Indian style pastry stuffed with paneer, cheese, and spiced potatoes, medium spicy. Product of India, baby. Okay, let's go back to the studio and put all these in the air fryer. Okay, pizza rolls. You've probably had them before. You see the little insert shot here, like a pro. I'm gonna go ahead and bite the tips off these two corners. You gotta let them cool off a little bit. But I have a few thoughts while I wait for this to cool off momentarily, so I'm not eating hot lava in front of all of you. Don't microwave anything unless it's in small doses. It's just, you deserve a little texture at least if you're gonna eat processed stuff, and that's a good way to do it. So we did air fry these. So let's just try. I went with just plain cheese. So it's cheese tomato sauce. I'm sure it's somewhat unremarkable. It's about what you'd expect. The sauce is kind of sweet. It doesn't really taste quite like pizza, but it's like cheesy, sort of tomatoey. It's very sweet. You know what's really weird on these? You can actually really taste the crust part. I found that odd. Not what I was looking for, but look, not a whole lot to say about these. They are processed. They're very, very cheap. I'm sure they used real food in them, but it's one of those things that if I found out otherwise, I wouldn't be overly surprised. And you can get a handful of these for like $2, something like that, right? Now, my other container is a much larger container, and I think it was about $6.99 on sale. So let's not get too bogged down in the price point differences, because I'm sure if we got a comparable amount of pizza rolls, we'd find the same thing. So I'll finish this one in my hand here. But I'm kind of glad I didn't get one with pepperoni or something in it, because I think I think the pepperoni would have made it taste a little more like pizza. But I think it would have hid all these other things I'm tasting, like the very pronounced flavor of the roll itself. It's so weird. It's very like wheaty, as it were. Yeah, not bad. Not life-changing. Eat a real pizza. Okay, now I want to see. I really think these samosas are going to be a lot better. If nothing else, a lot more interesting. So let's switch to those. So I did cook these together. My samosas, as you can see here, they got a little extra brown texture. Hopefully that's good news. These were Tandoori Paneer, which is a cheese, kind of maybe like a cottage cheese or something comparable. If you've never had paneer before, it's very mild in flavor, but it's also got some tandoori spices. But these are fun. Little pockets. I'm gonna do the same thing, bite the corners off, just so these can vent for a second. Actually, I got to bring this up instantly. The flavor of the crust tastes more like food. I'm so sorry, Totinos. You have a place in my heart still. But this tastes like a real wrap that then they put stuff in. Give a little smell. Oh yeah, there's some nice spice happening there. I smell some peppers. I'm sure there's like turmeric. That seems to happen a lot. Let's just dive in. I'm actually legitimately excited about these. Let's dive in, actually. I'm legitimately excited about these. Yo. Oh, okay, there's potato in here, too. Oh, what's more American than potatoes and cheese? And a little bit of spice. You all love hot sauce now, right? That's a thing we moved into, right, America? Damn, that's great. Oh, really rich smell. It's kind of hard to see on the inside. I'll do my best to showcase it. But we've got little minced potatoes. You got some minced cheese, rich spice. To me, I know they're not both aiming to be pizza, so let's not be crazy. But come on, are the other ones really trying to aim to be pizza either, or just remind you of pizza? This is an infinitely better tasting product. Like, I don't know what they put in theirs, but as I mentioned it from the jump, this tastes more like real food. Like, this tastes like if I went to a restaurant, they would give me this. Whereas if you went to a restaurant and ordered pizza rolls, they wouldn't do that. They would like make you a pizza roll, like a small calzone. And it probably tastes a lot better than what we got in the frozen section. This is legitimately awesome. This is actually one of those things where Look, I'm sure some of you watch this and you're like, oh, of course Mark's going to like it. He's on the show. I'm like, no, they've been really upfront with me about being honest about things I don't love, which is why I was pretty honest about the pizza rolls a minute ago. And I was still nice about it, though, because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. But, we Americans often eat too much processed stuff. This is one of those things that I ate, and I'm like, oh, cool, I'm going to go buy a box for home after this. That's how I feel about this already. Still close to lava inside. This is great. Oh my gosh, I'd highly recommend these. And they had other flavors too that looked good. They had one, and then, funny, I wanted to aim closer to what I assumed we would have with the pizza rolls, but they had one that was like a jalapeno popper style samosa that I bet is very good, if not very Indian inspired. But this is great. You get that, like, I hate to say it's some, like a little hints of curry, little hints of some of those other like Asian spices that you get with a lot of Indian cuisine that I'm struggling to articulate in the moment right now. Gosh, that's awesome. Like, this is one of those ones where I'm like, oh, this is exciting. They gave us at a medium spice level, that is. I would say it's pretty accurate. Most bites don't have very much spice at all. Some have a little more spice. But I would highly recommend. This is a no-brainer for me. If you're thinking about buying pizza rolls, go try these instead. That's really what I want to do here, right? Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with eating pizza rolls. I don't think there's anything wrong with any of these frozen American things. But look, we generally tend to process our stuff more than some of the other countries do, and some are worse than us, don't get me wrong. But I was really excited about this because it looked pretty authentic. It was a product of India. I mean, hands down, if we're going imports versus domestics, the imports have it today. This is a knockout. Come back into the store, try this with me, and then, I don't know. That's all we're going to do, actually. We're going to just try this together, and we'll sit here in awkward silence, and we'll chew like, yeah, that is pretty good. And then you'll be like, yeah, thanks for letting me try that, Mark. I'll be like, you're welcome. Thanks for coming in and doing that. I ask everybody every week to do this, and no one ever takes me up on the free food offers. So now's your chance. Awesome. Well, you know what? I'm going to keep eating these here. And in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and kick over to our last big segment of the show today. This week, we're joined by Maria Keck. She's a music teacher here in town. She is an instrumentalist herself. I meant to say musician, who just recently released an album. She performed this for us here a little while back at the studio. She's doing some flute loops. You'll see. It's really cool. We talk about all of her equipment that's required to make her music happen. It's interesting stuff. So go ahead and meet Maria in the meantime. I'm going to finish these up. Welcome to the show, Maria Keck. Hi, Maria. Welcome.
Hi. Good to see you.
Yeah, likewise. I'm glad we're actually having this moment. Tyler Carson, who's been on the show before, he made some salsa with me a while back. Thank you, Tyler. I still have your blender. Thank you. Tyler, forever ago, it was during the beginning of COVID, and I was trying to do one of my Sweater Fest events, and we're going to do like a live stream version of it at Radio Artifact.
Okay.
And I had a whole list of people, and I ended up letting Radio Artifact pick like some of the guests, but I was like, oh, this is someone I need to work with at some point, and then I haven't done Sweater Fest again since. So anyway, I'm glad that you've agreed to come do this.
Yeah.
So thanks.
Happy to be here.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Like, what are you doing musically here?
Musically, I am looping. So you'll see me do some flute loops a little later. Basically, I just build layers of sound, pretty simple layers, and sing over them. So it's sort of like if you wanted to be a folk singer, but the only instrument you had was a flute and your voice. And so, yeah, that's what I'll be doing.
That's so
musically.
Cool. Yeah. How'd you get into this?
So I studied music and studied to be a music teacher, and I've been teaching for 5.5 years now. Mm-hmm. And when I started teaching, I sort of stopped performing and playing music because it was just an overwhelming career to jump into. And I didn't really feel my own place in the musical world because I had just been playing classical flute and training to be a teacher. So a couple of years into teaching, I decided to buy a loop pedal and figure out how to use my flute as an accompaniment instrument. And from there, I was just using my knowledge of sort of arranging and music theory to put down very simple chord progressions, writing, literally writing out every single note of the chord and how it's going to be played on the first layer and the second and everything. Because that's what I was used to, very organized, precise music. So, but yeah, it's been 3 years that I've been doing this, writing my own songs and looping. I've had this loop station now for a year and a half maybe, which has opened up a lot of doors for like mixing and layering and stuff.
Sure.
And I'm just now starting to record my songs.
I love it.
The first single's on the way. So that's exciting.
Well, I'm glad we'll have a good live performance of it recorded for you here too.
Yeah.
And maybe I should give a little heads up to the audience too. If you're not familiar with the loop station, effectively what it allows you to do is like create a segment of music. It records it and allows you to replay it. So like it was something that I wish was way more readily accessible when I was like first learning guitar, because like I always, I'd be like, okay, here's a cool lick. And in the early 2000s, a digital recording wasn't where it is now, where it's very easy to do that.
Right.
But this, I think, makes it really easy. So you could take something like that, and then you could play over it and then just keep creating on top of it. I just want to make sure this is very clear to all of you who don't play music why this is important to us. But it's such a cool thing. And, you've got artists like yourself. We were joking about Mark Rebillet. I forget how he's... I know he's French-Canadian. I'm like sitting there, I was like, I know the A part is right.
Yeah.
But, you've seen a lot of artists start to use this more commonly. It's a really, really cool thing. So I was just so excited when you decided to come and share this with us.
Awesome, yeah.
So are you a Jungle Gym shopper regularly? And answer honestly. It's okay to say no, because then we'll just press you later.
No, I'm not. It's probably been a year since I was here, and I don't even know why I was here. I think I was just in the area. I bought some candy for my classroom, and I bought some ramen, and I think I got some cheese.
Oh, perfect. Those are all great choices.
Yeah.
We got a lot of options. I was just doing a little live stream this afternoon about international candy. People love that stuff. I imagine. Do the kids get into that too? Are they down for the weirdness?
I'm going to be honest with you. I put that candy in my closet to use as rewards, and I never told the kids about it. This is why I don't normally buy candy for my classroom.
Yeah.
Because once it's hidden, I'm like, well, I'm the only one who knows it's there.
Yeah,
so we're going to keep it that way.
Oh, that's been terrible for my health my entire life. I'm like, all my hidden candy. It's like, oh gosh. Right now, I'm just keeping a grocery cart. Oh my gosh, this keeps slipping off. I feel so embarrassed. That's amazing. So what's next for you in the music career? I mean, like any plans? I know you're talking about releasing a record and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, nothing is really set in stone. I don't plan to leave my teaching job anytime soon. So I'm hoping to get this first album recorded and released like by the springtime, early spring. And then like I think that I'll have more confidence to like start going out and traveling out of Cincinnati, but sure. I don't want to go far because I like being here, which is one of the reasons I don't want to be a full-time traveling musician, but it works out nicely with school and summer and that kind of thing. So I hope to release an album in the spring and then do sort of like a local Midwest tour with that album. That's awesome. Within 4 or 5 hours because we're so centrally located. So that's sort of the plan. And from there, we'll just see what happens. Cincinnati is a great place to be for music. So I've played really fulfilling and awesome gigs just here in the city at Radio Artifact.
Great venue.
So I'm happy with that. But I do want to kind of branch out a little bit and just see how it feels. Yeah. Because I don't have any long-term goals with my music. It's
at least not yet.
Want to see how this next step feels, and then we'll see.
Something I've been asking all the musicians and artists that have been coming through lately, is there something either you wish you'd been told or just something you would like to impress on any young people watching the show right now that are interested in being involved in music, in a professional or just in a hobbyist space?
Yeah, very interesting. I would say I wish I knew how important it was just to be around other people playing music casually. Because I come from a more formal music background. And so coming from that like college academic musical world and then going into a world where I'm like hanging with all of these cool bands and people who are just doing whatever they want and not following rules, it's like intimidating to me. Even though like I have all this knowledge inside my head, it's not necessarily translating to what other people are doing with this, just like the freedom of being able to jam with each other. Right. So that to this day, like that still scares me. Like if anyone ever says like, hey, do you want to come jam? I'm like, how I don't know if I can. I can try. Can you give me a chord chart to follow?
What key are we working in? Is there any modulations I need to be aware of?
Exactly.
I get it.
So I think that's something I wish I would have been more aware of, because it's not something that happened naturally for me. I don't think I was like drawn to those places naturally or those circles naturally at a younger age. And so now I'm uncomfortable with it, and I wish that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
So that's something that I think is super important, just being around people who are making music casually and who are like creating a creative, safe space in that way.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, for me, I always tell everybody the opposite, which is, not the opposite, excuse me. For me, it was like I didn't practice enough. But also, through that not practicing, I also am terrified of a jam, but it's from the opposite angle, where it's like I understand a lot of music theory, but can I make my hands translate it?
Right.
So I'm always like, yeah, I guess we'll jam. And then guess who's never showing up to that? And if I am, I'm just sitting in the back clapping.
Yeah, you brought your tambourine.
Yeah, exactly. A little rhythm section. So, well, that's cool. Well, you feel like jamming for us? I'm excited to hear it.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
All right, cool.
I watch your hair blowing wild in the wind, and I wonder if those ancient eyes will ever let me in. You float up high above me like some past life poetry, but keep your feet grounded as an old oak tree, an old oak tree. You're an old oak tree. I wanna float wild and free like you. I wanna soak up each new season side by side with you. You can plant your seeds in the spring, I'll harvest every word. We'll learn the songs of Mother Earth from the early morning birds, the morning birds. The morning birds. Weave me a crown of dandelions, clothe my weathered skin in wisteria vines, whisper in my ear that I'm enchanting in green. Take my hand and make me autumn leaves into the mystic with Van the Man. I wanna wake up early in the cradle of your arms. The breath of wind, the only thing between us and the stars, us and the stars. You and me and the stars, baby. Weave me a crown of dandelions, clothe my weathered skin in wisteria vines, whisper in my ear that I'm enchanting in green. Take my hand and make me your forest queen. So wake me for sunrise with a lingering kiss. Bring a coffee and a blanket to our favorite cliff. Sing your mountain songs about sweet lovers dead and gone. Wrap me in your dreams as we breathe in the dawn. We breathe in the dawn, babe. We breathe in the dawn. Weave me a crown of dandelions, clothe my weathered skin in wisteria vines, whisper in my ear that I'm enchanting in green. Christen me and crown me your forest queen, your forest queen, your forest queen, forest queen, your 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 forest queen. Your forest queen, your forest queen, your forest queen, your forest queen.
Hey everyone, thanks for your time today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. We got to try a couple new things. You met some new people. Maybe you found a new podcast you're going to check out, or you're going to check out Maria's album. I thought it was really cool that she came in and performed. All right, folks, on that, we've got all kinds of great stuff coming along. So make sure you get your tickets to Beer Fest coming up here in June. We've got some wine tastings. We've got some beer tastings. Every Friday night at both stores is Pint Night. Don't forget to come and do that. And I'm going to keep trying to turn you on to all kinds of fun new products and entertain you while you're here in the store. And in the meantime, I'll see you out there in the aisles. The Jungle Gyms podcast is recorded in the WJJI studio inside Jungle Gyms International Market in Fairfield, Ohio. The Jungle Gyms podcast is produced and hosted by Mark Borison.